Hey, Satsu, guess what?
Yeah.
It's Tuesday! Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lords of the Night. With me, as always, is the Lord of Pennies, Satsu 2 cents.
What up, now?
And I'm your host, Scribe, the Lord of Punishment. Hope everyone's doing well and having a good week so far and have a good week ahead of you. Oh, it's been a busy, busy day. Busy day. How was your day, Satsu?
Pretty good. I actually got out of the house for a change today, which was nice. And just it's been a pretty chill day. Nothing bad to report.
Good. I did my second round of morning jogging today and did the same route as yesterday. And I came home and was dying a little less than I did the day before. So maybe I'm getting used to it. I don't know. But man, it was freezing. So cold. But yeah, trying to form new habits. We'll see if it sticks. Other than that, regular day, I suppose. Work. And then tomorrow is going to be work, and company meeting, and then dentist appointment, and all types of crazy stuff. So anyway, not exactly the most exciting thing in the world. But boy, do we have some stories tonight, guys. A lot of stuff has happened in the last 12 hours or so, or less, depending. We'll get to those momentarily. But before that, Monkey Dick, Jim Jones, movies, video games. Hit that like button if you have not already. And please share our stuff. Share it all over the place. Share it like you would, your crackers in elementary school. Because that's what nice kids did. They shared what they had. Isn't that what kids do, Satsu?
Should be what they do, but I don't think that's what happens.
Is that what you're going to teach Aaliyah to share?
Within reason.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that's pragmatic. Before the stream, thank you, Point Curation, Kickstarter. Not too much longer now. Buy a painting, please enjoy. Yes, their Point Curation has made a whole bunch of original art pieces and is putting them up for bounty, more or less, on his Kickstarter at very reasonable prices, I'd say, if you'd like a piece of original art. So putting the link again into the chat for those of you that haven't taken a look yet. Take a look at that. And a couple of days left on that, so get them while they're hot. Thank you, Tall Person. Happy National Panda Day. Panda Day. All right. There aren't many pandas left in the world. I don't think there are many in the U.S. specifically. Mostly, I think they're all in zoos, I would assume. But yes, panda bears, strange creatures. Yeah, I think, if I'm not mistaken, for the longest time until relatively recently, like within the last 100 years or something, they were thought of as a myth. And then they actually discovered them to be real things. I think it was something like that. Right? Relatively recently being like in the 1900s, I think, somewhere. Early.
I wouldn't know.
I think so. Anyway, all that being said, let's get right into the snooze. Let's start off with something pretty terrible that's going on right now, and as far as I can tell, is still active. 7 dead in shootings at 3 spas in Metro Atlanta.
Damn.
Now, they're still trying to figure out if these things are connected. When 3 different spas were shot up in the same day. I think they might be, but I guess we'll find out. Thank you. This is Kyle. Hello, chat people in Lawton. Hello, Kyle. At least 3 people were killed and 2 were wounded. Well, the number's gone up. I think there's been an update. After a shooting Tuesday at a massage parlor in an Atlanta suburb, and 4 people were killed at 2 other spas in Atlanta, authorities said. Investigators said they were trying to determine whether the shootings were connected. Deputies were called to Young's Asian Massage near Ackworth, Georgia, for reports of a shooting, Cherokee County Sheriff spokesperson Howard J. Baker said. Responding deputies found 5 people suffering from gunshot wounds. 2 people were pronounced dead at the scene, and 3 were transported to a hospital where 1 died. The sheriff's office is looking for a suspect they say was seen on surveillance video at the scene at the time of the shooting. Baker said investigators don't know a motive yet. Ackworth is about 30 miles northwest of downtown Atlanta. Atlanta police say they responded to a robbery call at the Gold Massage Spa on Piedmont Road in Atlanta. Officers found 3 people dead. At the same time, they responded to the aromatherapy spa directly across the street, where they found 1 person dead. Police said the 4 victims were female and appeared to be Asian. They did not say whether they were employees or customers at the spas. Atlanta police say they are in the beginning of the investigation and have not outlined a motive. But yeah, this is an active thing right now, and presumably that person's still on the loose, and it's been updated since I last looked at it with a map. But yeah, so if you happen to be in that area or know people therein, please stay safe, because God knows what's going on there right now. I will come back to this story later in the show to see if there's any more updates. But yeah, that's happening like right now, unfortunately. Yeesh. So let's see. Let me save that tab and instead go over to a different tab so I can keep that one open for later reference. Well, let's see. We'll start with another sad thing real quick. Yaphet Kotto, actor, has passed away at 81. Yaphet Kotto was in James Bond, Live and Let Die as the bad guy, and was an Alien. But I personally knew him, as it says here in the headline, thankfully, because it's a lot of places don't mention this as much, on the TV series Homicide: Life on the Street back in the 90s. A show far, far ahead of its time, and great show. To me, it's sort of a precursor to things like The Shield and stuff like that. Eventually merged over and crossed over with Law and Order. But and also might be part of the Tommy Westphall universe, since characters from that TV show where it all happened, but St. Elsewhere, that's what it is, appeared in that show, which is bizarre. Yaphet Kotto, an actor known for bringing gravitas to his roles across television and film, has died, according to his agent, Ryan Goldhar. He was 81. Kotto died on March 14th at 10:30 p.m. local time in the Philippines, where he lived with his wife. Information on the cause of death was not provided. Kotto's on-screen body of work began in the late 60s and remained steady through the 90s. In that time, he amassed an array of memorable roles that spoke to his transformative talent. His notable film work includes roles in Alien, The Running Man, Midnight Run, and Live and Let Die, in which he played iconic Bond villain Mr. Big. Yes, Mr. Big, the voodoo supervillain. Well, I guess he wasn't the voodoo supervillain. That was his sort of henchman, but all the same. In television, his longest running role was as Lieutenant Al Giardello in NBC's Homicide: Life on the Street. Quote, Yaphet Kotto, my mom's favorite, director Ava DuVernay wrote on Twitter. You go to her? There aren't like some other, notable actors he's worked with that maybe you'd want to quote?
Nah.
Okay. Nah, Ava DuVernay. Television producer David Simon added, quote, memories and respect for Yaphet Kotto, whose film career was legend even before he came to Baltimore to grace our television drama. But for me, he'll always be Al Giardello, the unlikeliest Sicilian, gently pulling down the office blinds to glower at detectives in the squad room. Yep, I love the first 2 or 3 seasons of Homicide were just excellent. Excellent stuff. Way ahead of their time, really gritty for network television. Acting was great. Yeah, if you can find that show, I don't know if it's playing on any of the streaming services or anything, but if you have the opportunity to watch that show, give the first 2 or 3 seasons a shot. It's excellent. Thank you, Chicago Mike. Scribe, can I get the world's famous happy birthday for my wife, Joyce?
The world's famous?
Well, I mean, technically we're on the World Wide Web.
I mean, we are literally on the World Wide Web.
Yes, and we have viewers from many places in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as there's someone on each major continent that has seen this show and seen a birthday song at least once, then I guess technically.
What if one of them hates it?
Well, we can be world known. That splits the difference.
All right.
Okay. All right. Well, with all that, just trying to get that squared away. Joyce, I am told it is your birthday. And around here, I do this. And a 1 and a 2. Happy birthday to you.
World famous.
Happy birthday to you.
Lords of the Night exclusive.
Happy birthday, dear Joyce.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Joyce. World Star. World Star.
In the mix.
Dude, you do that way too good. You got to start recording promos for the show like that. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So Yaphet Kotto, really liked him as an actor. Loved him on Homicide. 81's a good age if you got to go, I suppose. He had 6 kids. There was I remember seeing an interview with him where a long time ago where he talked about how self-conscious he was about his appearance. And that he always felt very, very like he didn't like the way he looked. He thought his teeth and his face and everything, he thought he looked really unattractive and was always worried he wouldn't actually attract women or something. And I don't know. I thought the guy was a pimp, but whatever.
You know
anyway.
How nice it'd be to have 6 kids right now.
Well, I mean, he's 81. Presumably they were mostly grown up. Andrew Cuomo's future may rest on more than the merits of the case against him. Really?
Which case are we talking about here? The important one or the one that doesn't really?
And exactly what case? Has any litigation started?
Yeah.
So far, everything has been accusations. And unless something else has happened, I don't think actually anything's been filed against him, though God knows there should be. The argument for impeaching New York Governor Andrew Cuomo is increasingly compelling. It was compelling in August.
It wasn't compelling enough. Dude,
no, it wasn't compelling enough.
Old people.
Yeah,
they don't care. Fuck those old people. Trump killed those people, not Cuomo.
Yeah, 13, 15, whatever the 1,000 dead old people. Yeah, who cares? Yeah, it's increasingly compelling. There have now been several seemingly credible allegations of sexual harassment against Cuomo, indicating a pattern of behavior that should disqualify him from a position of leadership and influence. Oh, I don't know. How about setting people up to die and then trying to cover it up and then intimidating people who would speak out against him? Maybe that should.
Did you catch that, Scribe?
What's that?
Did you catch the key word there? They used a secret word there they don't often use.
What's that?
Seemingly. Did you see that?
Yeah. Seemingly credible. Yeah.
That's seemingly credible. Everybody else that we know who had these big, huge cases, Kavanaugh, Trump, any other Republican, it was always straight up credible. Period. Yeah. Credible allegations. Period. But now it's seemingly credible.
Thank you, Chicago Mike. Thanks, guys. She loved it. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for the donation. I'm glad she liked it. Mm-hmm. Now, but truth be told, that is the way they should be approached. Unless evidence is provided or something's litigated or otherwise, they are only allegations. I'm not going to argue against the fact that the allegations are just that against Cuomo. However,
for sure.
I don't care about the sexual harassment allegations because they are next to nothing compared to what we already know has happened. And we already have documentary evidence to show what was going on regarding the nursing homes. Why we keep harping on the sexual harassment allegations in lieu of the actual issue that should be questioning his ability to lead or govern, I don't know. But apparently it's sexier to go after these things. Okay. Additionally, reports that the Cuomo administration deliberately undercounted deaths in nursing homes in the early days of the pandemic further undermined his standing. Not only undercounting, but setting up the circumstances for it to happen, turning away medical help that was sent from the federal government, and then trying to cover it up, and then trying to intimidate people who spoke out against it. Oh my God. The view that Cuomo must go has been taken up by many of New York's most visible Democratic politicians. Republicans, and there still are many in New York, have joined this chorus as well. Why wouldn't they? The laws regarding impeachment in New York are similar to the presidential impeachment process, with one significant difference. A simple majority is needed in the state assembly to impeach, but a conviction requires 2/3 of a jury that consists of the state Senate and the 7 judges from the Court of Appeals. However, during the trial itself, Cuomo would not be able to serve as governor. Wow. Okay, that's interesting. The Democratic leaders of both houses of the state legislature have called for Cuomo to resign, so it is clear he cannot simply rely on support from his own party. Nonetheless, the politics of impeachment are not quite so simple because while politicians from both parties have a strong incentive to call for impeachment or urge him to resign, there is much less of an incentive for them to actually get rid of him. There are 2 factions in the state legislature who, for political reasons that predate the scandal, dislike the governor. One group is Republicans, who see Cuomo as an outspoken partisan Democrat who is a beloved figure on the left. He was for a moment. But that is not the way he is viewed by many progressive New Yorkers who represent the other group of legislators that most acutely dislikes Cuomo. Blah-de-blah, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay. Andy's not doing too good. The press keeps harping on the things that are secondary. But here's the thing, and I don't have it in front of me, but Cuomo and his lawyers have gone after the credibility of the accusers. Mm-hmm. And it's not that hard if you'd like to. And I think some of the news sites have already collected these. Look up Cuomo's previous comments about questioning the credibility of female accusers. Andrew was no fan of people who would try to impugn the credibility of Christine Blasey Ford. But now that he's the one in the crosshairs, now it's okay to question the credibility of your accuser. Yeah. And you know what? He's absolutely right to do it. Absolutely right to do it. It's just like, again, it's one of those things. It's not so much what he's doing, it's the hypocrisy compared to his past acts. Anyway, moving on from that, how about we do this one? So, we talked about this, I think, last night, or at least mentioned it. Whoops, I don't want your free trial. Go away. But let's talk about Newsweek's fact check. Ready for a fact check?
Quote, fact check.
If I'm able to actually read this thing. Fact check. Is Columbia University hosting graduation events based on race and identity?
Well, technically true.
Prestigious Columbia University in New York has attracted attention after it was reported to be holding 6 additional graduation ceremonies for its students based on race, gender, sexuality, and income. A page on the university's website details virtual ceremonies for students who wish to participate in a native graduation, a lavender graduation for the LGBTQIA+ community, an Asian graduation, a ceremony for those from first-generation and or low-income communities, a Latinx graduation, and a Black graduation. The additional ceremonies will take place between April 25th and April 30th. Quote, complementing our school and university-wide ceremonies, these events provide a more intimate setting for students and guests to gather, incorporate meaningful cultural traditions, and celebrate the specific contributions and achievements of their communities, unquote, the page adds. The events offer graduates of Columbia College, Columbia Engineering, General Studies, and Barnard College. Graduates are told they must register by Sunday, March 21st in order to secure their multicultural graduation gift, such as a tassel and pin, and the deadline to register in order to be listed on the website and the ceremonies is Wednesday, March 31st. Okay, so I'm just going to read off those things again. Native graduation, lavender graduation, Asian graduation, Latinx graduation, Black graduation, and then this first generation and or low income students. Okay, those are the names of the events. And remember, the question is Columbia University hosting graduation events based on race identity?
I don't know. It's still a mystery. We need more information, apparently.
Here's the claim. If the headline didn't already tell you. The College Fix, a conservative news website focused on higher education and campus activity, reported on the ceremonies on March 8th, claiming they were, quote, segregated, unquote, ceremonies. Mercy Meraki, if I'm saying that correctly, senior researcher at the Center for Social Justice and graduate student in social policy at the University of Oxford, also tweeted on March 6th, quote, racially and sexually segregated graduation ceremonies. One of the best universities in the world, 2021.
Wow.
So she's a researcher at the Center for Social Justice, and she's seemingly making fun of this? That's amazing.
Either that or that was just a weird endorsement.
Yeah, quote, the cheek, and she's British, of calling them multicultural graduation ceremonies when they are literally based on singular quote-unquote cultures. If you want to know what going backwards looks like, this is it. I am impressed. For someone that, I mean, given her position, you would think would be steeped in the backwards justification of things like this. She's right on point. Several days later, Fox News picked up on the additional ceremonies at Columbia. Senator Tom Cotton described his outrage while sharing the article on social media. Quote, the endpoint of critical race theory, segregation, Cotton tweeted. Quote, critical race theory is the belief that people have value based on the color of their skin and that our race defines everything about us. It's not just false, it's dangerous. The problem is not just one woke university embracing discrimination. Critical race theory is being pushed on our kids at school. It's peddled by HR departments and corporations, and the Biden administration has embraced it under the guise of racial equity. Tom Cotton is 100% correct. And if you'd like to know more about that, check out The Diversity Imperative playlist on my channel. That's been going back 4 years now. And also Curriculum of Fear and anything else that I have on my channel regarding these things.
Real quick, I'm going to go check on this pot roast. I'll be right back.
Okay. And I'm assuming that's not a euphemism for something else. Well, now I can't do the facts check without Satsu here, because if I don't have someone to, react to these things, it doesn't really work. Some of these things aren't one-man show material. So, hi everyone. Hello again. I know reading off the news doesn't sound very personal at times, but I am speaking to you. But now I'm speaking to you more directly because I'm killing time until Satsu gets back from checking the pot roast. If that isn't a euphemism for something, we should make it a euphemism for something just to give Satsu some crap, Hello, Bastard Beast. This is Kyle. Stargazer, Mashisu, Check Your Logic, Rick Ashbringer, Data Wasteland, Zach Osborne, Ex-Bubba Hotep, Advocatus Diaboli, Zalbla, Giovanni Prince. Giovanni Prince, are you like the Vampire Clan Giovanni Prince? Thank you, Atheist Icon, for the how's it going, Dogcat Fox. I don't know. How's it going? Wowie, wow, wow. I guess it's going okay. Let's see. Puddock, the Asia Research Directorate. Hello. Ants K. Hello. Brittany Holland. Hello. Mike R. Hello. Mr. Yes. Hello. Giovanni Prince says, yep. A Giovanni Prince. Okay, I don't know the updated lore. Did the Giovanni join the Camarilla? Because that would be just freaking bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. Although I think maybe somewhere in the deep lore there at one time was a Giovanni Prince in the canon somewhere, somehow. Of course, if you sort of defect from the Giovanni, you pretty much have a death mark on you. The American Celt, hello. Roger Reynolds, hello. San, hello. Ebony Williams, hello. Gulf City, Peterbilt Confederacy 379, hello. Ginger Snap, hello. I feel like I'm starting a TED Excellence. By the way, there will be a new TED Excellence on Thursday. What will it be? I haven't decided yet. I've got quite the list, and they keep dropping like dozens of new talks every day, nearly now, or during the week. I think Tuesday is usually Monday and Tuesday, they usually drop quite a few. And the problem is that a lot of them are in languages I don't speak. And the other half of them are Skype or Zoom broadcasts where the audio is terrible and I couldn't possibly subject myself, let alone my audience, to it to save my life. Thank you, Puddock. Some unofficial stimulus money for you. Thank you so much. It's been 1 entire year since I got laid off. That's not worth celebrating, but hey, I'm making more money now. Ain't that the truth? I've heard that from a lot of people. Well, thank you so much. And fingers crossed that you get a job that pays more than the government's doling out at some point in the near future. Yeah. Debate Fly says, buzz. How long does it take to check a pot roast? I don't know if I'm questioning Satsu's stamina or anything, but, you know. Oh, gosh. What shall we do while we wait for Satsu? Shall I find a more funny story to look at real quick? It doesn't require a whole lot of response time. How about I do that? Okay, how about this? That sounds charming. Let me switch the screen here so I don't lose that story. And we'll move on to this other one. Sure, why not? Assistant principal accused in homecoming court vote fraud. An assistant principal at an elementary school is accused of accessing the school district's internal system to cast fraudulent votes for her daughter, who was elected homecoming queen at her high school, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement said. Was this at some point in this girl's youth, like her daughter's youth, was she one of those toddler and tiara type moms? On Monday, agents arrested Laura Rose Carroll, 50, and her 17-year-old daughter on multiple charges stemming from the October homecoming vote at Tate High School in Pensacola. The investigation began in November when the Escambia, I don't know Florida counties, county school district reported unauthorized access into hundreds of student accounts, according to a news release from the agency. Investigators found that in October, hundreds of votes for the school's homecoming court were flagged as fraudulent, the news release said. There were 117 votes from the same IP address within a short period of time. That's when investigators found evidence of unauthorized access to the system linked to Carol's cell phone and computers at her home. There were 246 votes cast for homecoming court from those devices. Carol is an assistant principal at Bellevue Elementary School in Pensacola. Multiple Tate students told investigators the daughter described using her mother's system access or of watching her mother access records for years, the report said. Investigators learned that since August 2019, Carol's account accessed 372 high school records, and 339 of those were Tate students. Satsu,
yes,
an assistant principal, stuffed the ballot box for her high school student daughter's homecoming queen ascension.
Really?
Yes.
That's like some Disney movie shit.
I was saying I had to wonder if the mother and daughter were like a toddler and tiara fodder back when she was younger. Because I'm like, so anyway, Carol was booked in the Escambia County Jail, and bond was set at $88,500. It was not immediately known whether Carol and her daughter are represented by a lawyer. Her daughter was taken into custody and transferred to the Escambia Regional Juvenile Detention Center. The case has been turned over to the state's attorney's office in Escambia County. Yeah, so they're like both up the creek for computer hacking and all types and fraud and a whole bunch of other crazy shit.
That's pretty stupid.
Yep, it is. But back to the fact check. I waited for you.
Thank you.
So, how's the pot roast?
Oh my God, I'm about to share a picture on Twitter now.
Okay, well, given the implications I gave to the phrase, "Got to go check the pot roast" while you were gone.
Yeah,
I don't know if that picture is safe for work. Anyway, let's get back to the wonderful world of fact check.
FYI, guys, it's over on Fam 2 Cents if you want to go see it.
Mm-hmm. Go see Satsu's pot roast. All right, here are the facts. There are additional graduation ceremonies taking place at Columbia University for people choosing to celebrate with people of their own ethnic backgrounds or sexual orientation. We got that from the top. However, this is not new and has happened at a number of colleges for years. Oh, well, that makes it okay then. Right? The ceremonies are also not compulsory and a general graduation for all students is scheduled for Friday, April 30th at 10:30 a.m. Hey, Newsweek. I could read you the text of Title VI of the 1964 Civil Rights Act that says that any program or activity receiving federal funds cannot discriminate on the basis of skin color or race or ethnicity, plus all the other ones that like Title IX and so on and so forth. So, yeah.
The glaring problem, the glaring issue there is there seems to be a group of people who mysteriously don't get the option to only do it with their kind.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. So I posted this on Twitter. I actually I'm saying this a lot more lately, which is amazing. It's like everything that I've done in the last 4 years is suddenly coming around to mainstream stuff. A couple of years ago, I did a video about Boise State University, and Boise State University had a black graduation, plus some other programs at the school specifically set up for, well, students of particular types. And during the course of this little video, the students involved, the student council, they had to say, somebody asked them, it's like, so are people who aren't black allowed to go to these things? And they're like, well, yeah, I mean, the school can't prevent you from doing that. I'm like, yeah, because it's federally legal. However, the name is called Black Graduation. Mm-hmm. And the name of this other one is called this, and the name of this other one's called that. The implication that these events are set specifically for people of specific types is enough to dissuade people from thinking that they are allowed to attend or should attend. That is enough. That is discrimination. That is segregation. And it's happening on federally funded programs and colleges, etc.
Well, I find it hard to believe that they don't know that, considering they think the fact that a completely open space that literally says a regular event for literally anybody to go to at any time, just the implication that white people exist there makes them believe that they're not supposed to be there. We're unwelcomed in this space. We're not supposed to be here because white people are here. Just that fact alone. So literally saying, if white people put up an event and said whites only,
exactly,
they'd be like, yeah, that means no black people are allowed there. Like, they're not that fucking stupid.
Yeah, I mean, it just, like you say, turn it around and say, okay, we're going to have white graduation. There would be no end to the protests, and they would be right to do so.
But here's the thing. Yeah. Why is it not? Why is there not one? Why is that not an option? You have all these other options. Why is that not an option if you're giving all of your students the opportunity to have a graduation with their own kind, to celebrate the victories of their own community? Why is that not possible for them?
Let's see. In a statement to Newsweek, the university said, quote, Columbia marks graduation every spring with a university-wide commencement ceremony and class days for the graduates of each of our schools. These events bringing together all of our graduates and their families are a high point of every academic year. These smaller celebratory events held for particular groups. Tell me what my mind's saying, TEDx friends, are in addition to, not instead of, the main commencement and class day graduation ceremonies. In most instances, these smaller, multicultural gatherings, they're not multicultural.
They're literally the opposite of multicultural.
Yes, they are individually segregated events based, just look at the name.
They don't know what the words mean that they use, dude.
Multicultural gatherings evolved from ceremonies originally created by alumni and students. That doesn't make it okay. The gatherings are voluntary, open to every student who wants to participate.
Yes, and this white-only meeting is voluntary, open to all students. It's just only for whites, right? Yeah. So it's fine, right? It's okay. No, it's not okay. It's racist.
It's open to every student who wants to participate. Then why call it Black graduation? Why call it why lavender graduation or Latinx and on and on and on? Why call it if it's open to everyone? Why segregate? Why segregate? The ruling, mostly true.
Mostly true.
Okay, well. Is that like being a little pregnant? Okay, well, what part of it isn't true? Because if it's mostly true, that means some of it isn't true. While there are additional ceremonies taking place for Columbia students, these aren't compulsory. Compulsory is not the question.
Yeah, the question wasn't, are these compulsory whatever? That's not the question at all.
The claim, The College Fix, a conservative news website focused on higher education and campus activity, reported on the ceremonies on March 8th, claiming they were segregated ceremonies.
They are.
Why would they be named the way they are if they weren't meant to be segregated? Why have them at all? Quote, Snubberth, thanks so much. Quote, Snubberth, sorry, I got my brain mixed up there. Snubberth, thank you so much. He's only mostly dead. Yes, only mostly dead. While there are additional ceremonies taking place for Columbia students, these aren't compulsory and are not taking place at the same time or instead of the main ceremony attended by all graduates. That's not the issue. The additional events are also mostly created by alumni and students rather than the university. They are sponsored by the university. They're being promoted by the university. University resources are being put towards these events. And again, any federal funding makes these things illegal. The school said they are not an example of segregation as suggested by conservative figures. So it's oh my God. Anyway, thank you, Matt Barnes. Can I circle make something about race for no reason now? Yeah. Oh, man. I have no idea. What is this? Graduating students attend the Columbia University 2016. Why are there a bunch of Chinese flags in the Columbia? Okay. That's interesting. Anyway. Yeah. Mostly true. Great. Let's see. I want to get one more in here. I know we're a little late, but I can't help but bring this one up since Biden said something today. Biden's blunt message to migrants at the border: don't come. Now, I want you all to think back to the campaign and what Biden and Kamala had to say about their stances on immigration. Okay? In contrast to the Trump administration at that time. I want you to think back to the kind of rhetoric and the kind of legislation being promoted in the last year or so. Okay? Just want you to think about that for a second. President Biden on Tuesday issued a blunt message to migrants thinking about crossing the border: don't come. Sounds like advice for a porn star, too. The president spoke about the crisis at the U.S.-Mexico border in an interview with ABC News, in which host George Snuffleupagus asked, do you have to say quite clearly, don't come? Quote, yes, I can say quite clearly, don't come over, Biden replied. Quote, don't leave your town or city or community, unquote. The number accompanied of children. Okay, New York Post, you gotta get working on that. The number accompanied of children and teenagers taken into custody by U.S. authorities at the southern border has shot up in recent weeks amid an increase in migrants attempting to cross into the country. Well, that's obvious. Are you going to talk about the reason for the spike? More than 4,000 migrant children are being held by the Border Patrol as of Sunday, with at least 3,000 of them staying in custody longer than the 72-hour limit set by a court order, the U.S. official told the Associated Press, which, last I checked, was equivalent to certain actions that took place in a European country in the 1930s. And I say it that way because I don't know what YouTube would do otherwise if I said something specific. So, but that was, I guess, during a different time when we didn't say such things. Now, an additional 561 kids were taken into custody Monday, twice the recent average, according to another official. When asked if it was a mistake, quote, not to anticipate the surge, unquote, Biden pushed back, noting previous surges under former President Donald Trump. Quote, first of all, there was a surge in the last 2 years, he said. In 19 and 20, there was a surge as well.
So? That wasn't the question.
That was not the question, Joe. Because, you see, here's the thing, Joe. If you saw a surge in 19 and you saw a surge in 20, then you knew there was going to be a surge in 21, right?
Yeah.
That you didn't at all address the question. You just gave evidence to your lack of preparation and your administration's incompetence in thinking that it wasn't going to happen, and beyond the previous surges because of your own rhetoric and policy declarations.
Yeah, like I said before, they thought that all those people were coming over here in a climate where they literally said that Trump was going to throw them into Nazi prisons. Like they were 100% certain that, this thing needs to be taken care of. But in a situation where you literally said, hey, everybody who can get over here gets a free ride, they're like, nah, how are we supposed to know what was going to happen?
Stephanopoulos noted, quote, "This one might be worse," referring to the surge. And Biden acknowledged, well, it could be. Joe, it already is. 28% increase since January, Joe. Quote, "I heard the other day that they're coming because they know I'm a nice guy," Biden said. "Here's the deal. They're not." What?
Really? He can just say that. He heard they were coming because he's a nice guy, and then he definitively says, "Nope, I know all of them personally, and not a single one are coming because of me." Okay.
Right. Okay, Joe. Why are they coming?
Yeah. What's the reason?
Yeah, what is the reason? I mean, I don't have the full interview in front of me, obviously. Republicans have argued that Biden's policies and legislation he supports are creating powerful pull factors for migration. And they're right. Last month, Biden terminated Trump's Remain in Mexico policy that required Central American asylum seekers to stay in Mexico while U.S. courts reviewed their claims. Yeah, so by doing that, guess what happened? Guess what happened? You overwhelmed the system again. And you open the door for anyone who wants to try to get over here and get a free ride. I just heard on the radio before the show a report from the border where there was some dozen kids or something who had forged through the river and were being processed under a bridge with sort of those aluminum foil space blanket things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, soaking wet under a bridge, alone, unidentified, no guardians. Under a bridge, because they'd run out of room to process them at the usual place. Like I said, I feel like a broken record. It is only going to get worse. And just listening to Biden here try to stave off responsibility, not answer the actual question, and not give any... If he knows why people are coming over, and it's not because he's a nice guy, well, then you should also know how you can solve the problem, right, Joe? And if you knew there were surges in the previous 2 years, why didn't you know there would be another one this year? And how could you not have presumed that your declarations weren't going to increase it even further? I was talking as soon as you were elected, we were talking about that. Anyway, I'll stop because God knows we have other things to talk about. But we're going to move on to MSS News, guys. So if you guys have news stories you'd like us to read on the air, please send them to us via Twitter using the hashtag MSS News. Can't promise to get to them all, but as you may have noticed, I am long-winded. So, that being said, who's up first? Oh, sure. Well, if it's senior staff reporter and chief Florida correspondent Colleen Bernier, it's got to be one that I have to read, right? Read right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, read. Okay, is this one going to come up here? Okay, let's do that and then share the screen. And I'm hoping, let me check this story real quick because it involves some racy images. I just want to make sure that I'm not going to be inadvertently putting something up that's, that gets kind of close. Okay, I'll read at least the first. As soon as I get to the word intrigue on here, I will stop because then the photos get more than a little suggestive, I suppose. But I guess the first part is not terrible. Work-life balance. Ex-escort claims having 2 vaginas helped her separate work from her personal life.
How does one do this?
I don't know. A former escort claims that having 2 vaginas allowed her to separate. Yeah. Evelyn Miller discovered she had the rare condition known as uterus didelphus when she was just 20. Okay. It means that she has 2 simultaneous periods and has to wear 2 tampons, as well as needing 2 separate smear tests. And despite being told she may have difficulty conceiving, she's now 6 months pregnant in her right uterus. Evelyn, now 30, said she had actually found having 2 sets of reproductive organs, quote unquote, handy. She spent 8 years working as an escort and said that it left her clients, quote, mind blown, unquote. One was a gynecologist who even turned their session into a medical exam, while another questioned if she'd had a, quote, sex change gone wrong, unquote. Not only that, but she said her condition has been good for endurance as well as enabling a separation between her work and private relationships. Please tell me she got a tattoo over each one that denotes which is for work and which is for pleasure. Please tell me. The advertising business owner claims it's generated a lot of intrigue and has boosted her OnlyFans following by 1,700 new subscribers. Only 1,700? Okay. Evelyn of Gold Coast, Australia said, quote, to me, it's my normal, and I never really thought it was that intriguing, but apparently it's very intriguing. I guess not many people can say that they use one vagina for work and one for personal life. It was helpful with work to be able to have a whole other vagina.
Well, I mean, look, she exists. Therefore, we need to start instituting laws and making stuff now for it to, because that's a whole nother brand of human being. Like, you know.
Yeah. Does she qualify as a new sex or gender?
I don't know, but we need to start writing some laws and stuff for people like that, just in case.
Okay, well, I think we get the gist of the story, so I'm going to stop there.
Work pussy and home pussy.
Moving on, this one comes from Sean Uli. What's this here? I'm getting. Hold on a second here. Okay. Dick Durbin, number 2 Senate Democrat, comes out in favor of filibuster reform. Well, if you do, just telling you, you're going to regret it if there comes a Republican president and Senate and House again in the future. Thank you, Snubberth, for your research into her OnlyFans. I have yet, and I doubt I ever will, subscribe to an OnlyFans. So I appreciate it, but I'm not that curious. Thank you, Matt Barnes. This is my rifle. This is my gun. This one's for fighting. This one's for fun. Yes. Oh, Full Metal Jacket. I learned so much about the military concept from you. Senate Majority Whip Dick Durbin has come out in favor of reforming the filibuster, calling it a, quote, weapon of mass obstruction, unquote. You weren't the first one to come up with that, by the way. As Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer reveals that, quote, everything is on the table, unquote, to achieve the Democrats' legislative goals. Speaking Monday from the Senate floor, Durbin called on his colleagues to join him in supporting filibuster reform, saying it was, quote, making a mockery of American democracy. Hey, Dick, how many times did the Democrats use it under Trump? How many times did your own party use it under Trump? Just curious. I mean, if it's so evil, if it's a mockery of American democracy, then obviously you guys never use it, right? Because it would be unethical, be against your values.
Wrong.
Right? Quote, the filibuster is still being misused by some senators to block legislation urgently needed and supported by strong majorities of the American people, continued Durbin, who also serves as Senate Judiciary Committee chairman. This is what hitting legislative rock bottom looks like. Today's filibusters have turned the world's most deliberative body into one of the world's most ineffectual bodies. How long has that been going on, Dick? Okay. The filibuster is a Senate rule requiring 60 members to end debate on most topics and move forward to a vote. The Senate is split 50-50 between Republicans and Democrats, though Vice President Kamala Harris has a tie-breaking vote. That's really all that she has. Still, 51 votes are not enough under current rules to break through the filibuster. Prior to Monday, Durbin and Schumer had been vague on their filibuster stances, with both saying they had not committed either way. Well, why not? It's a mockery of American democracy. How could you be fence-sitting on that if that's what it is? Let's see. In his Monday floor speech, Durbin argued that if opposition members wanted to use the tool to their advantage, it should be difficult for them to do so. Okay. How so? Quote, if a senator insists on blocking the will of the Senate, he or she, why is it in brackets, huh, Dick, should have to pay some minimal price of being present. No more phoning it in. Well, it's a pandemic, Dick. If your principles are that important, stand up for them, speak your mind, hold the floor, and show your resolve. Okay, so he's calling back to the sort of traditional ceremonial version of the filibuster. And if you want to see this in action, go back and watch the old Jimmy Stewart movie, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, where literally, if you were going to delay or hold up discussion on a vote or whatever else, you had to literally stand up and speak and take up the floor time for as long as you were going to delay things. Rather than just say, I cast a filibuster, which is what's basically going on right now. Durbin's, now, again, that's not a rule. That was just sort of, like I say, tradition, more or less. Durbin's comments come as Democrats face escalating pressure from progressives to abolish the filibuster to enable the body to pass some of the more ambitious legislative efforts that would otherwise not reach 60 votes. While speaking to MSNBC Monday night, Schumer said that, quote, everything is on the table when it comes to filibuster reform, given that the party will only be able to work around it so many times.
That's so hilarious where they're just like, yeah, we want to abolish it now that it's not convenient to us. And I guess we'll just fucking worry about how it'll affect us negatively when it comes relevant, I guess.
Well, here's the thing. I am fine if they want to eliminate the filibuster. Elections have consequences. If we're a democracy, at least if some of our proceedings are democratic, then the majority rule. If it's 51 to 49, then it's 51 to 40, or 51 to 50, it's 51 to 50. A lot of things should operate that way. It shouldn't be a supermajority every single time on every single thing and have that held up. I'd be fine if they eliminated it completely, with the understanding that once they do that, they're never getting it back.
They're going to want it back.
Yeah, no, I know. On an idealistic level, I'm fine if they want to get rid of it. On a pragmatic political level, whoa.
Yeah.
Fire truck. Okay.
Oh my God.
On a pragmatic level, I don't see how they get away with getting rid of it. But of course, Durbin's not talking about getting rid of it. He's talking about making it more difficult to employ. So they're not even going after what their supporters want to have happen. They're just going to put some conditions on using it. Anyway. Quote, we would welcome Republican support, no question about it, and maybe some of them will see the light on some of these issues, but if we don't get Republican support, we have to move forward with big, bold action. No. Putting conditions on filibuster isn't a bold action. That's a pittance. That's table scraps. Getting rid of the filibuster would be a bold action. Everything's on the table, blah, 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 except for getting rid of the filibuster. Okay. So that's the long and the short of that.
I have to say, this is probably the best roast I've ever made, and it was completely on a whim.
Hear that, everybody? Satsu's enjoying his roast.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on. Oh boy, this one comes from Frosted Glass, if you can believe it. Let's see. It is from a medium subheading called Zora, which sounds like the name of a princess from a sci-fi movie or a fantasy movie.
Those are the fish people from Zelda.
Oh, are they?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the furthest into Legend of Zelda I got was the first game. I never did play the Adventures of Link or whatever, the second one.
It is believed that the Zora do exist in the first game. They just hadn't evolved into Zora yet. The little lizard creatures or whatever, the water...
Dragons.
Yeah. Back then they had not evolved into Zora yet.
That's some deep lore there.
Indeed.
Let's see. Did the Octoroks appear anywhere else in the series?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just making sure. Because I always like the Octoroks. They was kind of cool. Soft black girls and the reclamation of black femininity.
Yeah, this was the one I skipped yesterday. I'm going to go grab something to drink.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, it would appear that Satsu likes abandoning the show just at any particular turn. I've called the show police on him. You can hear them coming now. Let's listen to the background noise of him moving around.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay. I was just telling everybody that apparently you're just abandoning the show over and over again tonight.
Look, man, I am hungry as hell. I didn't even start dinner late. I was gonna cook it in the Instapot, but then I changed my mind for some reason. I think because everything wasn't gonna fit. So I'm just like, fuck, it's not gonna be done as quick as I want. So I cooked it in the oven, and I am glad I did because this shit is amazing. But you know.
Are you going to put your method on a video for other people to take a look at?
I recorded it.
Okay.
Yeah, I did record it, so it'll be going up at some point.
All right. Okay. Softness in black girls is both strength and rebellion. Okay. Define softness, or is this a term you're familiar with in any way, shape, or form, Satsu?
If I was to take a guess, not a guess, a guess.
Take a guess. No.
What they're talking about is the black women are, super aggressive and hard, that type of thing. And being soft as a black girl is strength and rebellion. Although, in order for it to be rebellion, you'd have to believe in the stereotype that black women are aggressive.
Exactly.
So,
let's see what they have to say here. And this is by someone named Kasira Copes.
Yes.
Okay.
She's far too stupid to understand that her rhetoric is working against her.
This is the author. I was not black enough as a kid.
Neither was I. What a coinky-dink.
At least that's what I was often told by my classmates and, more subtly, by my family. As soon as I entered middle school, I became obsessed with shoujo manga and anime. Satsu, you have a kindred spirit here. The type of Japanese visual media made for teen girls. Oh, okay. Maybe not as much a kindred spirit. I don't know. Do you like anime made for teenage girls?
I think they meant. Wait, where was that at? Is it shoujo?
Shoujo, yeah.
Yeah, shoujo is a genre, and they make all kinds of stuff. It's not specifically,
Oh, okay. This is me not knowing these things. Thank you, Chicago Mike. I know a little German. He's sitting over there. Yes, yeah. Top Secret. If you guys have not seen the film Top Secret, one of the funniest things that Val Kilmer ever did. Well, next to Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Let's see. Magical girls, romance stories, and cute, colorful characters were my kryptonite. Oh. Every week I was in Borders. I know. Yeah, I miss Borders too. Spending my allowance on every volume of Tokyo Mew Mew, which was for me what Sailor Moon was for everyone else. I've never seen a single episode of Sailor Moon. I know the image of it. I've seen it all over the place. I've never watched a single show. Yet when talking to friends at school, I hid the extent of my hobby, covering up my more girlish interests with a passing familiarity of more male-oriented titles like Naruto. When making friends with other anime fans online, I was careful to hide my race behind cute, pale-skinned avatars. Everyone hides whatever they are behind cute, pale-skinned avatars. Have you been interneting at all lately? Okay, even at such a young age, I had internalized enough of society's messaging to know what to expect if I were honest about my interests. Okay, the cute Japanese things were not meant for a black girl like me. Okay, I think you've talked about this before, Satsu.
I have, but what I'm very puzzled about is the fact that she's female. And she seems to feel like she got the same, and maybe she did. I'm not sure, but it didn't really seem like. It seems like the fact that she was female would have shielded her from a lot of that stuff because it was much more accepting where I came from for a black female to be into that than a black male for sure. So
let's see, and I guess this is a highlighted quote from somewhere else in the paper or the article. Softness is an act of rebellion. It's a form of reclaiming the delicate femininity that has long been thought of as exclusive to white and Asian women. I've known some pretty ornery white women. I've known some pretty ornery Asian women. It's not a skin color or ethnicity thing. It is a you thing.
Here's the thing. And this is the truth of it. And some people might deny it, but this is the way it is. The only people who think that that is an exclusive metric are the people who feel slighted by the concept. Anybody else? Nobody else who's reasonably thinking about the situation thinks that all Asian girls are exclusively the soft, and this is a trait that only these girls and those girls possess. Most reasonable people just don't think like that. The only people who I ever hear say those words are the people who feel slighted by the very concept that some people assume that most girls who are Asian or white seem to be a little softer than black girls. So they take it to the extreme, and they're like, oh, well, they think that all of them are like that. And it's like, no, you do. You think that.
I mean, I suppose if your only information on Asian or white women come from like ancient cultural traditions of Asian women in the family, or the most stereotypical 1950s housewife version of a white woman, then maybe that's your idea of what femininity is for particular races. But of course, that's just stereotype like everything else. Snubber, thank you so much. Cosplay in the Black Twitterverse is one big circle jerk of bullies. If you remain quiet on issues like Floyd, they will shame you.
Yeah. And even people, in my experience, even a lot of people who push stereotypes often understand that they're pushing a stereotype. Like they understand that, like, yes, there are some people who are who are excluded from this. Even if they express, shock or surprise to find, to actually run into somebody who's not, most of the time that's just based on experience. But they usually have enough sense to know the difference.
I'm just kind of skimming through this now because we're getting close on time. But so our author seems to be equating being interested in anime with equating to being a soft person. Maybe that's true, or at least in her version. Anyway, skipping down, but the world seems to think that black girls and softness don't mix. Well, no, you think that. Yeah. Do not speak for the world. Yeah. You are not the world.
Because if you talk to all the other black girls in that group or in that genre, that they don't think that. There's a whole bunch of other people who are on the outside of just your fucking whatever bubble you've kept yourself in to force yourself to think that or whatever. Like tons of people don't think that. It's you. It's your misconception.
In a society where dark skin is often seen as inherently aggressive, you know who thinks that dark skin is inherently aggressive? Racists. And sassy has long been the media's descriptor of choice for black women. Softness is an act of rebellion. Okay, you're rebelling against the stereotypes you see in movies and TV, which does not constitute representation of reality, if you hadn't noticed. If you've steeped yourself into anime and cartoons and comic books and other things and not actually looked at how the real world works, maybe this explains where you're at. But painting everybody with the same giant brush and then saying this is how it is, and then holding everyone to account for what you think everyone else is thinking, that's a you problem.
Yeah, and believe me, listen to enough black female activists and they'll tell you all about how fierce they are, how unapologetic they are, how proud they are to make the people around them uncomfortable. Like that you're all that shit is internalized, and it's coming from the group that you seem to be thinking that you're speaking for. So I don't know what the fuck she's on, but she's done a pretty good job at insulating herself from reality, apparently.
Okay, I'll do one more here. I'll do it from our, well, I guess not technically our birthday girl, but the birthday girl's husband, at least. This one comes from Chicago Mike. Hopefully this is a cute story. And for God's sake. Nova Scotia boy finds message in a bottle from 1995. Damn. A Nova Scotia Canada. I spit the God every time I want to say Canada. A Nova Scotia, Canada boy having a backyard campfire discovered a message in a bottle that was tossed into the water more than 50 miles away 25 years earlier. It took 25 years to travel 50 miles. Okay. Naima Mitchell, 8, said was, Said was at his family's home in Cheticamp on the island of Cape Breton. Cape Breton? Oh my God. Can the Argonians be far away? When he spotted a bottle under a pine tree. He used a pair of pliers to remove the bottle's cap and discovered a message dated August 12, 1995, and signed by an Alamer, Quebec 14-year-old who was visiting the Magdalen Islands with her family. Britta Mitchell, Naima's mother, said the bottle likely spent some time in a nearby pond after blowing in from the Atlantic Ocean. Quote, "We think it was a few years ago when the waves all came over the beach. It only happened once since we moved here in 6 years." The message's author, Nellie Nadeau, 39, said she was shocked to receive a letter from Naima Mitchell saying her bottle had been found. Quote, "It's just unexpected news that comes in the mail that someone found a bottle that you completely forgot about and that was sent so long ago. It gave me chills for several days. Why?" Nadeau said she sent a reply, but the letter came back stamped return to sender. She used social media to find Mitchell's family, and another letter is on the way. A Scottish woman walking on the beach in Manchester on the Shetland Islands recently discovered a message in a bottle that had been sent 21 years earlier by members of a scouting group in the Faroe Islands town of Klaksvik. Did we talk about that one? I thought we talked about something like that recently. Some message in a bottle thing, I think. Anyway, that's cute. They're not going to tell us what the letter said, though. But okay. Anyway, everyone, thank you so much for sending all the stories. Sorry I didn't get to them all, but that's just the way the cookie doth crumble from time to time. Going to move on to the wonderful world of YouTube time. I'll go first because I don't have much. Well, I put together today's theme. And for those of you that don't know, it's from the film Tango and Cash, starring Sylvester Stallone and Kurt Russell. I thought Tango and Cash, light and sense, kind of worked in a way. Cash, sense, and so on. And I found that particular poster. I guess that is the poster is actually a variant from Europe or overseas. Like the one I'm familiar with the most was the box cover art, which I have a really hard time figuring out, and I'm sure there's a way to do it more easily than I can imagine right now. In movie posters where like the faces of the people are coming out of shadow. Satsu?
No.
Okay. Well, hold on a second. Let me see. The first thing that comes to mind as far as like movie posters that do that kind of thing. All right. Let me where can I just view the image? Oh, come on. Yeah. Okay. Let's do that. Oh, okay. Well, it's not the best thing in the world to hear. Here, I'll show you a picture. All right. You see this?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Anyway, the Tango and Cash poster had that kind of thing where the two faces are coming kind of out of shadow and it's all dark and everything. And I haven't figured out how to recreate that effect with our avatars yet. Maybe I will at some point. But anyway,
if you soften up the eraser, you can do it pretty easily.
Yeah, I like I said, I know there's probably an easier way to do it than I'm thinking of. Anyway, that aside, I didn't go for the actual U.S. poster arrangement because it was just couldn't make it work. But thankfully, there was a sort of classic action movie 1970s version for European markets, and that's where that poster comes from. Anyway, that's what I did for that. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Thursday, I'll be doing a TED Excellence. I haven't decided what to do yet, but I will read off a few titles of potential possibilities. We have, now this one, just based on the title alone, has me going because it is the most buzzword-packed one I've seen recently. The Restorative Power of Reframing Resilience.
The what?
Catchy. The restorative power of reframing resilience.
They should just call it the convenience of changing the definition of everything.
Then I have 3 essentials for equality. No idea. And lastly, and the one that I'm leaning towards, finding my people and healing from white supremacy, as told by a white girl. Or lady, I should say. I had to check. She's one of those adults that looks very young, and I had to check. I was like, is this a TEDx Youth? Because I have done a couple of TEDx Youth ones in the past, but now I almost exclusively avoid them. I've honestly never been all that comfortable dunking on kids on a stage saying things that they were probably told by some activist teacher at this point. So yeah, but anyway, I had to check. Now she's a full-grown, PhD, etc. person. So anyway, those are the three I'm considering. I'm leaning more towards finding my people and healing from white supremacy because I can't imagine what that is. But anyway, that may or may not be Thursday's show. You'll have to find out on Thursday at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern on my channel, this channel. Otherwise, I've been getting some good feedback from people on the interview I did on Sunday with Inhuman Form. And I have been told by reliable sources, persons familiar with the matter, that the stream and my channel will be promoted on the next video that Inhuman Form puts out there. So I'm glad and looking forward to that. And otherwise, yeah, that's all I've got right now. Satsu, what have you been up to?
Putting together a shopping list of a bunch of things I need to get my studio together so I can start making videos. Found out what a C-stand is.
C-stand?
Yeah, C-stand.
Oh, a C-stand. I was like, C-stand is like a C-span except for like stalkers.
Yeah.
No.
Because at this current moment, I'm well, up until now, I've been like, tripods and clip-on stuff to mount stuff or whatever. But I kept thinking like there has to be something, that where I can like kind of just like put like something over the top and have it be able to connect things. I'm like, what the fuck? There has to be something that exists like this. And then I was watching a video on setting up your own kitchen or home studio, and this dude's like, yeah, I bought this cool C-stand, and I'm like, oh, I found it. It was a glorious moment because I'm just like, that is exactly what the fuck I need. Oh my god. They're pretty pricey, but I need them, so it is what it is. And I have to get some sandbags as like counterweights and stuff. And there's a whole bunch of new things that I've been looking at and checking out that will prove to be useful to me. I have pretty much decided to go the route of getting smartphones as my secondary and third cameras to get my multiple camera angles when I'm doing cooking videos, because it works, because they don't need to be super great. And fortunately enough, you can get extremely high-end and very powerful smartphones that are super cheap from China, apparently.
From where?
From China.
Oh, Satsu, you're supporting the evil regime.
Well, from Amazon, but anyway,
same
they
difference.
are Chinese phones. But they the Xiaomi phones or whatever, they have super good cameras, and I'm not going to be using them for anything but that. Like, it's just going to be the cameras, and I'm not even technically going to be recording anything because I'm going to be using OBS to mirror the actual camera from the phone into OBS, so that way I can utilize multiple camera angles while doing the cooking videos, which should be pretty cool and interesting. I've already tested it on my phone and it works just fine, and Squishy has one, so I tested it on hers and it works just fine. So that'll be a good alternative. Light fixtures, lapel mics and wireless receivers and all kinds of other techie shit that is very expensive. Yeah, so that's pretty much what I've been working on. I finished a honeypot video today, so that'll be coming out probably tomorrow, maybe Friday. I don't know. We'll see. Working on a Satsuhime video. We did a Valheim stream last night, and we'll probably be back on those on Friday, if not maybe Thursday, because we had some struggles finding the fourth boss, because there's a series of bosses you have to fight in this game, and the fourth one is in the mountains, and we had a fucking hell of a time trying to find this damn thing. It was and we still haven't found. Well, I think Cynic looked it up, the seed that we were on, and located it or whatever. So I think Stunlock and Cynic knows where it is now. But yeah, that was fucking dude. We were like just shuffling through the ice cold blizzards in the mountains for like 4 hours. It's like 2 streams total. We've been trekking through these mountains trying to find this damn shrine to figure out where this boss is, and it has not been fun. Fucking werewolves murdering us and death skeetos everywhere. Shit is this game is stressful sometimes.
Thank you, Dark Lyle. Adam Savage spent an entire episode on his channel, Tested, devoted to C-stands and other neat video production equipment.
Nice.
Yeah, as far as gaming is concerned, I'm currently just in my spare time playing Kenshi. And for those of you that play Kenshi, I started a run through using the rock bottom start, where you are placed in the middle of the desert with no equipment, nothing but I think a pair of pants basically, and you only have one arm. And so far I've built him up into a cyborg armed ninja assassin, basically on a vengeance quest against the Holy Nation. So I'm single-handedly picking away at Holy Nation mines and things and that kind of stuff, and seeing how difficult that is. And with the rules that I cannot make any of my own equipment. I can only use what I can buy or find, and I can't have any recruits. I have to do it all solo. And so far, it's been interesting, and I haven't died once, which is pretty good. Pretty good, all things considered. So came close once. Came close. I was just about to the point of like, okay, I can't revive myself. And then a very friendly, I think it was a shinobi ninja or something, came by and just healed me up and patched me up, and I was able to get away. So anyway, for anybody that knows about Kenshi, that's what I'm doing right now as far as gaming is concerned. Otherwise, let's move on to the wonderful world of fucketry. I don't know what I've got of any fun here, but I'll take a look real quick. Let's see. Was that yesterday? Let's see. Yaphet Kodo, right. Okay. And we talked about the border. We talked about Colombia. Oh, the Washington Post had this little guide with the headline that read, "How to Watch the 2021 Oscar Nominees." And I said, with my eyes, duh.
I would have said don't. But you know.
That too. It's like I've seen the list of the Oscar nominees, like, not. I don't know. Maybe it's just the pandemic and the lack of advertising I've seen for these things. But I mean, I recognize the name of a couple of the movies, but just like, whatever. This isn't fucketry so much, but this has been making the rounds the last day or so. There's a video clip of Michael Winslow. If you guys remember, Michael Winslow as a character from the Police Academy. Well, he's an actor in the Police Academy movies, the guy that did all the voices and the sound effects and everything. Very famous for doing that. And he's on some Norwegian television show, and he duets with a guitar player who I don't know offhand. And he does all the sound effects of an electric guitar and everything, backing him up on a Led Zeppelin song. And it's amazing. Just amazing. I put it up on my feed. A couple other people have tweeted it around. So if you have a chance, it's only 2 minutes long, but it's great. And yeah, I also tweeted out my previous video on Boise State and their black graduation in comparison to Columbia and their programs. And all the questions and critiques in that video entirely apply to the Columbia situation, if you're at all curious. Let's see, we talked about that. And yeah, and this just happened a minute ago, so I'll just mention it. Another niche thing for people, if anybody who here is a fan of the TV show Red Dwarf from the BBC from many, many moons ago and several seasons now, there's a quote from Craig Charles, who played Lister, that Count Dankula just retweeted out. And the quote is, quote, "Red Dwarf wasn't radical because half the cast was black. It was radical because half the cast was black, but race was never mentioned." Yeah, that show is great. it's always been great. You can pick and choose certain seasons or certain episodes as being better than others, but I every time they had a marathon of every show in the new seasons back when PBS was doing their fundraisers. And back in the days before the internet, before you could stream stuff and binge things, that was the only opportunity once a year that I had to binge that show, as they played every episode that was in existence at the time, and the new seasons as they came out. And I was stuck to that TV all weekend. Love that show. But that's all really the fucketry that I've got. So, Satsu, what have you got?
Probably not much, but there was this one post that I saw earlier. It says, what exactly is the issue with men crying? I surely hope I get some good explanations. And there was a few comments underneath this post of people kind of commenting on it. But my response was, men crying isn't the issue. Men only crying is usually my objection. I said, crying won't solve anything, but it can make you feel better and release any pent-up stress that you've been holding in. But after the crying ends, it's time to take action and take steps to fix whatever problems you're facing. And or at least the way I was raised, as far as I understood it, my mom always taught us that it's not weak to cry. Like, it's not a weakness. It's not a bad thing to cry. To only cry is where the problem comes in. If that's your only course of action to face a problem is to cry about it, then that's not helping you nor the situation. So she always raised us, never feel bad about crying, as long as you are ready to take some action after you're done, Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I feel like it's a pretty good thing to go by. But what's hilarious is Squishy didn't quite get that same lesson growing up. So she is under the full mindset that crying is weak. Like, it's something that only weak people do. So she's like, I don't cry because I'm not no weak bitch. And I'm like, it's not weak to cry, Squishy. Right. And she's like, nah, fuck that shit. I'm a gangster. I ain't fucking shed no tears. And I'm like, all right. It's good. My God. But yeah, we were talking about that the other day, and I thought it was kind of funny because she was like, it was just, I showed the post to her, and she like, yeah, nah, fucking, if we had a son, I'd tell him that shit weak. I'm like, no, you can't do that. It's not okay. Like, people bottling up their feelings is half the reason why most of these fucking people are insane anyway. Mm-hmm. Like, crying is not the problem. Only crying, that is the problem. So that was an interesting post that was put out. Let me see what else got put up today. Apparently somebody made a Bone Thugs and Harmony Crossroads remix for the stimulus checks.
Oh no.
And it's something.
See you at the crossroads so you won't be lonely.
Yeah, dude. And it's the whole, it's not like, just it's the whole song. And lots of people were involved in this, and I need the first part, like, as soon as Squishy showed me this, I'm like, Stunlock. He'd be the one to show this to. But I got to figure out how to. I always figure out how to. I always can't figure out how to share things properly through Facebook. Mm-hmm. Because whenever you try to share them, especially over on Twitter, like, whatever link you share ends up either being corrupted or just like it leads nowhere. I'm just like, well, what the fuck? How do you share things from this fucking site? But what else did I see? There was something else. God damn it. Oh, well, this was an interesting motivational post that kind of got me off my ass the other day. It said, you'll watch an entire Netflix series even when the first few episodes are slow just because somebody told you it gets better. Mm-hmm. And then they said, but what if you looked at your goals like that? And I was just like, oh, fuck. Like, oh, shit, dude. It was one of those things where you're like, yeah, okay, duh. But it was the thing I needed to hear at the moment, you know?
Well, it's like one of those things like don't compare your beginning to someone else's middle.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
yeah. I mean, when I was talking to Inhuman Form on Sunday and talking about the fact that like his channel, he's only been doing videos since like this past November, basically. I think it was around November. And when I first saw his videos, I hadn't actually gone to his channel.
Mm.
And I was just like blown away because, you know, his scripting, his voice, his cadence, his analysis just sounds so polished. It seemed like he'd been doing stuff like this forever. Right. And when I was talking to him, he was like, yeah, I've only been doing this channel since November, but prior to this, he had a lot of experience in both, essay writing and things, doing psychology analysis and stuff, but also music editing and mixing and creating. So he already had a whole bunch of skills, just hadn't applied them to something like videos. And so it seemed like stuff you could look at that and say, oh my God, he just started his YouTube channel and he's already got all these subscribers and all this stuff. Yeah, but it's all backed up by a bunch of stuff that someone else has been working on in pieces for most of their life. So you got to be really careful in how you evaluate your own skills versus someone else you see on the street kind of thing.
Yeah. And, you know, in a variety of reasons could be the result of somebody, you know, getting somewhere that you feel you should be based on the work that you've done. And that's the thing too. Like, you know, the work you've put in, you have no idea what they've done. You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, I try my best not to, although, you know, I get caught up in it, you know, I'm not immune to it, even though I know better, watching other people on Twitch and stuff like that. And I'm just like, man, like, what am I doing wrong?
Right.
But, you know, it is what it is. You just got to focus on yourself. And if you spend less time focusing on other people's situation, you'll find that you have a lot more time to make your channel better, to make your situation better. So that's what I try to do. But, you know, it don't always go that way. Sometimes I have those days where just like, fuck, dude, this person is sleeping. He is sleeping and has 3,000 people watching. Like, fuck me. And I've seen it. I've seen a person literally like watch me sleep the stream, and they got like 3,000 people watching, and they're literally just laying in the bed to sleep with the lights off. I'm like, fuck, dude. But, you know, it is what it is. You just gotta do what works for you.
Yep. Keep
trying to work it out, and maybe it'll happen. Was there any other fucketry that I could think of? I don't think so. Let me just do another quick sweep. I always miss stuff. Okay, no, this was something else. It's just some dumb shit. There was a video somebody sent me of this kid who got put in the corner. Like he got, you know, punished, and he was put in the corner, and he's dancing. He's facing the corner. He's dancing his ass off, and somebody made a rap track to it, and it's pretty fucking good. I wonder if I could share it, because I don't think the music is I'm pretty sure it's not like copywritten or something. Let me see. It's just funny as hell. Share. I don't have to do the video file, right, in order for people to see it. I mean, hear it.
I don't know if I can share your sound.
Well, let me see. I'll push play on it. You tell me if you can hear it. Can you hear that?
It's not playing.
Well,
I can hear the background noise of you, kind of, but I can't hear the video now.
Then never mind. It's
Okay.
it's a funny song about this kid. Like I said, he got put in the corner, and he's singing about how about how it's fucked up that, you know, I'm stuck at home in this quarantine. I'm a kid. I'm antsy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, yeah, I'm sure Stunlock can find, because he finds every time I tell him about something, and I'm just like, yeah, I can't fucking be like, I found it. God damn it, dude. But anyway, yeah, that's it. That's all I got for fucking truth.
Okay. I have an update to the story we started out with. 8 women shot to death at Atlanta massage parlors. Man arrested. At least 8 people were now killed, and another has been injured in a series of shootings at 3 spas in the Atlanta, Georgia area on Tuesday, and 1 suspect has been taken into custody. It's unclear if all 3 incidents, which happened within hours of one another, are connected. I have a feeling that it may be. The photo released by Sheriff's Office of a person of interest in massage parlor shootings. Okay, no name there. Sorry. Cherokee County Sheriffs have announced Robert Aaron Long, a 21-year-old white man, was arrested at about 8:30 p.m. local time following a chase that led officers into Crisp County, about 3 hours away from where the first shootings at a massage parlor. Okay. The Associated Press says Long appears to look similar to surveillance images released by Cherokee County deputies. Jay Baker with the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office said when officers arrived at Young's Asian Massage, 2 victims were already dead, and another 3 were still alive. Okay, well, they've caught the guy, or caught a suspect, I guess I should say. And I hope that is the person so that he doesn't hurt anybody else. Or if there was anybody else involved, they catch whoever else it is, but Jesus. Okay, well, anyway, there's your update, guys. And with that, we're going to move on to question time. So if you have questions, comments, concerns, complaints, conspiracy theories, or, I don't know, thoughts, put them in the chat now. If you have questions for us directly, please put plenty of chat marks after those. If you have statements for us to consider, please put plenty of statement marks after those. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, well, I guess you're just going to have to live in ignorance. Let's see. Mata Winter. Oh, lords, would y'all try curry gelatin? No, that's curry gelatin. No. Done. That was easy. Podux, Scribe, you haven't seen any anime, or is there a cutoff point with your anime knowledge? No, I've seen lots of anime. I just haven't seen Sailor Moon. I watched the entire series of Trigun in college and most of Evangelion, most of Hellsing. I've seen Akira, Ponyo, Howl's Moving Castle, Princess Mononoke, Ghost in the Shell, Doom Megalopolis, Fist of the North Star, Golgol 13. I could go on for a long time about the anime that I've seen. So, yeah. Ebony Williams, don't know if I asked this, but Satsu, would you try making udon or soba?
Like the noodles themselves? Because I'm not really good with like delicate procedures like that, like making pastas and breads and stuff. And to be fair, to be honest, I just haven't practiced. I'm sure if I practice enough, I could probably get good at it. But the dishes, sure, like an udon noodle dish, but I'd probably buy like pre-made udon noodles or whatever. I just delicate procedures like that I'm not very good with, because it's just like, oh, you got to be very careful, or this could break, or this could not. You got to mix it right and do all this stuff perfectly, or it won't come out right. I'm like, yeah, well, there's a good chance I'm going to fail at that. So I like to go for what I know. I like a little wiggle room. So maybe one day I'll give it a shot, but it's just not my my strong area, I guess.
Lazy Invader Shia says, any game stream tonight? I think that's a yes, isn't it?
No, not tonight.
Oh, not tonight? Okay. Let's see. Only most of Evangelion, says Albla. Well, I saw the entire, as far as I know, because it was the DVDs were all owned by my roommate. I saw the entire series, but I never saw any of the movies. So I can't say that I've seen all of Evangelion, and God knows there's plenty of it. What else? And I also watched the first 3 or 4 episodes, or whatever was on the first DVD of Ergo Proxy. My ex-girlfriend owned that, and we watched it. And I like the opening song. It's by a band called Monorail, with a catchy tune. But yeah. Let's see, Stunlock. Pretty sure I found at least the original video of the kid in the corner. Did find the Bone Thugs one, though. Tagged you both on Twitter. Yep, got it. Diesel Dave says, I've never watched any full episode of any anime. Well, you might be better off for it. I don't Is there a long haul trucking anime?
I wouldn't be surprised.
If there isn't, there should be, and Diesel Dave should find it and watch it. Advocatus Diablo says Ergo Proxy is good. I enjoyed that show. Yeah, I never saw the whole thing. I only saw the first couple episodes, I think, but I remember enjoying it. But it was a long time ago. Frosted Glass, what are you going to mount on the C stand? Also, don't forget to put the sandbag on the highest leg.
Probably just the initial camera and just like a lightweight light, just to make sure I have proper lighting or whatever. Just like my camera phone and then a light or something like that. Probably, I don't have the money for any super expensive equipment. Like I don't have any. I mean, I got my one camera that I bought, my Canon or whatever, but that's it. Outside of that, I just got like relatively cheap, lightweight stuff. So,
Osan says the only Evangelion movie you should really watch is End of Evangelion. Rebuild movies are just cash grabs. Well, I'll take your word for it. I watched Evangelion in college because my roommate really wanted me to watch it, and I didn't mind it so much, but after I saw it once, I wasn't running out to watch more. So, like I say, take your word for it, but I probably won't pursue those things. Daniel Fullman, does the viewer need to watch the entire ad for the YouTube creator to get the revenue? I don't know. I assume you have to watch at least whatever the first thing is before you can skip the rest of it, but I'm not quite sure.
At last I checked, it was like a certain amount of the commercial.
Yeah, I think the preset amount of the commercial you can watch before it's skippable. If it is skippable, you still get it, I think. I don't know. I've never looked that much into it. There are people out there who know more about that than I do. Mr. Yes, Satsu and Scribe Light, have you two heard of the game Super Seducer by Richard LaRuna? Richard LaRuna. I have not, no. Ebony Williams, what shouldn't be an anime? I don't know. Sewage work?
I don't know.
I mean, I guess
the anime has proven that they can make anything interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I was about to say, at this point, anime is kind of like reality shows. There is no subject left untouched, almost, or there isn't necessarily anything that can't be eventually touched by such a thing. So, Mr. Yes, Scribe, do you still have that gun that was passed down to you by a relative? Well, I mean, there's only two guns that are sort of heirlooms. One of them is like an old, like actual original Wild West, like Winchester rifle or something. But my father, he keeps that at his place under lock and key because that comes from like 3 grandfathers back or something crazy. And then there's like this little Derringer thing that is effectively inoperable, but it's in a little mounted thing that my dad gave me that's in my apartment. So the answer is yes, technically. One of them is, and the other one is off being kept elsewhere. I don't have any guns in the house or anything that are actually usable. Let's see. Pyrus Creed, opinion on Nancy Pelosi trying to remove a Republican congressman from Iowa because she only won by 6 votes. I don't know anything about that story, so I couldn't say. But by 6 votes or 1 vote, if that's the final tally, then they won. So best of luck with that, I guess. Stunlock says sewage work anime with slimes as the main villains would work.
Oh yeah,
sure. Ghostbusters too, so why not? Ebony Williams, Scribe, are you the real god of tits and wine? I wish. Snap my fingers and have that show up real quick. No, maybe in my own imagination. Asan, Pol Pot's Killing Field should not be made into an anime. You could argue that similar situations have already made their way into animes. So, yeah. Puddock, for a streaming multi-camera setup, is there a modern-day equivalent of the video toaster? I assume there has to be.
Hey, Scribbles,
Yes.
do you have any? Yeah, this is probably a long shot, but any any memories on what Biden's opinion was? Because for whatever reason, I'm remembering that around the time that Trump was talking about the fact that there was a crisis at the border, the general consensus on the left was he was making it up, that it was a fake crisis that didn't exist.
Yeah.
Was Biden on that train? Because the reason that I'm asking is because it just hit me that he pointed out the fact that there was indeed a surge during the Trump administration. But I'm just like, wait a minute, wasn't he one of the ones saying that it was fake and didn't exist?
So I can't say that he was one of the ones saying it was fake. Biden wasn't really in quotable public territory until about 2019 because he wasn't. While pre-election things had started up, a lot of that came in the media. In one of the videos that I did for Expatriate Games, I showed the two headlines from the same author, where in one instance he says there's a crisis at the border, and then as soon as Trump became president, the myth of the crisis at the border kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And so I can't say it's impossible that Biden wasn't saying it was a myth or something, but I can't say for sure. I know that the New York Times, Washington Post, and so on, they put out stuff out there that said such things. But Biden specifically, you'd have to look it up. By the way, I still see your screen on the thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. As long as everybody else can't see it.
Yeah, no, it's fine. As long as they can't see all the gross hentai you're looking up.
Oh man, this gross. This is fucking culture, bro.
Yeah. Let's see. Mr. Yes, Satsu, have you and Squishy found a babysitter so that you two could go back to having nights out?
No. Well, I mean, technically, yeah, like my mom and my sister are, candidates, but my sister's got her own thing going on, and my mom just moved into a new place, and she still got her job, so it's kind of up in the air whether or not they'll be able to take her, but it's not really, we're not really in a position to be going out places anyway, considering, what's going on.
And Devil Fruit Zero Scribe Light, have you ever thought about having LASIK? I've thought about it, but the problem is that every time I go to the eye doctor, and especially after my little stroke that I had in my eye, the problem is that if you get LASIK and your eyes haven't stopped shifting prescriptions, you're just going to need glasses again eventually. So I've never, I considered it, but no, it's I can't do contacts because they're just I tried it once and they irritate my eyes. They're uncomfortable and they're just a hassle to deal with. And so I'll be a glasses guy till I'm old and gray. Bastard Beast, have you watched Midnight Diner? No, but I've seen Nightmare Cafe. Now that's a throwback reference, unless that's an anime. Satsu, is there an anime called Midnight Diner, and have you seen it?
Midnight Diner. I don't think so. I've seen Restaurant from Another World.
Oh, and then Daniel Fullman brings up Nightmare Cafe. Oh man, yeah, small world, great minds think alike. Yeah, Nightmare Cafe, one season, I think, or 8 episodes or whatever. Bizarre little show, but I remember getting very excited about that when I was a kid.
Oh, this is an actual TV show.
Oh, okay. Oh, a Japanese show called Midnight Diner, says Bastard Beast. Okay,
Ooh, this looks interesting. It's on Netflix.
Okay. Oh. Mr. Yes, Scribe Light, what is your favorite white activity, as in activities that are mostly enjoyed by white people?
I wouldn't know because I'm not a racist.
I suppose the only thing that comes to mind would probably be enjoying the sport of curling or watching it. I don't know. I presume, given its origins, that it's probably more of a white activity than others, but I don't know. That's the only thing that comes to mind, because as far as activities are concerned, I think most of mine are fairly universal. You know,
Existing good credit.
Oh yeah, good credit. Well, hell, good credit's only on the basis of choices I've made. That's it. Like not having a credit card.
Believe it or not, my credit actually got good once I got a credit card.
Well, that's the thing. I guess I have no credit. I guess in that sense. Yeah. Let's see. Data Wasteland Scribbles. Is your chat set to top chat or did you ignore me? Well, it's not set to top chat, and I wasn't ignoring you. So, not actively. So, if there was something you wanted to say it again, I guess. Frosted Glass, don't come. What strategy will Biden employ next? A do not disturb sign on the fence? Yeah. Biden, he's not impressing anybody with his, I don't know what's going on. This can't be possibly my fault. Yeah, there are only two options. Either he's a total and absolute liar, or he's totally and absolutely incompetent. Maybe a bit of both. But yeah, that interview with Stephanopoulos, not a good look. Not a good look for anybody paying attention. Let's see. Check your logic. Did you go jogging again this morning? I did. Like I said at the beginning of the show, it was cold, but I got my loop in. Yeah, the temperature made it a little bit difficult to go much longer. I'm sure as it starts to warm up, as springtime comes on, it'll be easier. But yep, did my jogging today. Tomorrow I won't be because in order to go to my dentist appointment, I'll be walking a significant distance down a hill and then back up a hill. So I'll get my exercise out of that. But I read Prostate Scribe. Have you ever seen the original Martyrs? Nope, don't know what that is. Corey Suzuki, Satsu, will you do any dishes from Food Wars?
I think they were asking me what I'll do anymore. Yes, I do plan on doing more dishes from Food Wars. I just haven't figured out exactly what. I've done a few already. Well, technically, I've only done one, but I remixed another one, and No, technically I've done two. So yeah, I've done two and then remixed one. So if you want to see those, they're already on my cooking channel. That's Fam 2 Cents. And if you want to see more, then request something and see if I can make it happen.
Mr. Yes, Lawton, favorite live action dating / pickup artist simulator? OK Cupid. That's it.
What's up? I'm sorry.
Favorite live action dating / pickup artist simulator? The live action parts make me go like, what?
Live action?
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Right now, Honey Pot.
Yeah, dating simulator. Yeah, dating simulator and nasty sex simulator. Yeah. Let's see. Ebony Williams, power question. Creating any illusion you want that takes physical form or sending your thoughts into strangers' heads. Any illusion I want that takes physical. I'll take that one. I mean, do they also possess like animation or any kind of autonomy? I'm starting to think of, for those of you who are Vampire the Masquerade fans, I'm thinking of, well, I guess it's chimeristry or chemistry, depending on who's pronouncing it. The Ravnos clan discipline, where each escalating level of the power adds more complexity to the illusions you can cast. That's kind of what I'm thinking about. Anyway, Satsu, you want illusions or telepathy?
Probably telepathy. Because ain't no like I have very little control over my thoughts, so ain't no telling what the fuck I'll end up conjuring up by accident.
Mr. Yes, Scribe, why don't we just build an electric fence across the whole U.S.-Mexican border? I think something that directly inflicts harm on people would probably be a step too far. That's why it's just a barrier and not a death trap. But Yeah. Also, can you imagine the amount of power cost that would be required to electrify a fence along the entire U.S.-Mexico border? Yeah. Yeah. Now, Frosted Glass, was curling invented by a mom to trick her kids into sweeping the floor? That's if the floor was made of ice, maybe. I don't know. Good for you, Scribe Light, says Stargazer. Good for me, what? What? Mr. Yassatsu, are there any plans to create a Kickstarter for a food truck?
Not anytime soon, no. But who knows?
Frosted Glass, if you could cast one spell from D&D in real life whenever you want, what would it be? Featherfall. I don't know when that would become useful, but the moment it does become useful, it would be the perfect thing to have. I don't know if Satsu knows D&D well enough to be able to quote a spell.
Nah.
I think Satsu would probably like Magic Missile. Let's see. Ace Phoenix. Which was the better movie? First Alien movie or first Predator movie? Ooh. I would say the first Predator movie. Like an overall cinematic experience because it had action, horror, mystery, tight script. Everything really worked very well with that one. I think it was the more entertaining movie. The more atmospheric movie, certainly Alien. The better horror movie, certainly Alien. But as far as like an overall, I think Predator was far more entertaining as a film and mixed the genres in a perfect way. Everything was just perfectly arranged in that movie. Thank you, Andrew Joyner, for the little devil emoji. Appreciate it. Thanks so much. Do you appreciate the first Predator, first Alien movie, Satsu, assuming that you've seen one or both of them?
You said the first Alien and the first Predator movie?
Yeah.
I like vaguely remember the first Predator movie. I know I've seen it, but I know I like the first Alien movie.
Okay. Thank you, Keldrig. Wrong. You want Wish, so you can use that to conjure up whatever other spell you want whenever you want. See now, I truth be told, my D&D knowledge is relatively thin for a tabletop role-playing fan because I haven't played D&D that much compared to, say, White Wolf or other things. So I was not aware of Wish. But Featherfall, I always thought was perfect because it's like you can never hit the ground. Stargazer, keep up the jogging. Scribe. Oh, okay. It is a bit of a. It's an effort to drag myself up at 4 a.m., put on my my silly jogging gear for whatever it's worth, and then taking myself out into the cold and the dark. But I intend to keep doing it as long as the weather cooperates. Dark Allow, Satsu, would you consider doing some of the recipes from Izakaya? In about half the episodes, there is a chef who teaches you a home version of the dish featured.
Oh, yeah, I would consider doing a dish from any show that provides me with ingredients that I have access to. So, yeah, to flat out answer any of those questions that would come out. If they're cooking a dish and they're presenting something that I can actually cook, then I want to make it on my channel. So yes, absolutely.
Cannibalistic Wizard, slice of peanut butter cheesecake topped with banana slices and strawberry slices and drizzled with chocolate and caramel and a glass of cherry wine. The cherry wine might be a bridge too far, and take off the banana slices and strawberries and peanut butter.
Yeah, well,
I'm not sure about that one. Yeah, the fruit and the peanut. I mean, some people like bananas and peanut butter, but the strawberries.
Yeah, that's a bit much.
Yeah, all that together sounds a bit too sweet. There's too many sweets there. Peanut butter and pick one of the toppings, I'd probably be okay with, except for the banana. But Parody Bear, pity the food that don't choose Wish. Well, I guess I get pity because I didn't know it existed. Thank you again, Andrew Joyner, for the hamburger.
I pity the food
Devil and a Hamburger. I used to watch the Mr. T cartoon show back in the 80s, where it was bookended with Mr. T live action telling kids to stay in school and not do drugs and things like that. I thought Mr. T was pretty cool. I still remember the themes, early parts of the theme song to Mr. T, at least the tune, because there wasn't a lot of lyrics to it. But anyway, I could go on, but I'm just showing my age more and more. Mr. Yes, Satsu, have you made blueberry pancakes?
No. I have not made blueberry pancakes.
Keldrig, 9th level spell that you can cast at will and conjure any other spell effect? Heck yeah. Okay. I don't know D&D spells that much. Okay, the only time I played D&D, I was played a ranger in one instance, and then a warlock briefly in another instance. And the first time I played, I can't remember what I played. I think I played a fighter or something. Anyway, I didn't get into sorcerers and wizards and stuff that too much. The ranger had a few low level spells he had access to, but like silence, I think it was called, or whatever. I messed up the GM with that one because everybody else in the party was like very much an experienced D&D player, and this was like the third game I'd ever played. And one of the ranger powers is silence. You can basically create a area where no sound occurs, the ranger gets very minuscule access to certain powers at low levels because he's usually, using a bow and arrow and everything. And so I just picked silence because I thought that might be kind of cool. Well, we get to a mid-level super boss. I think we're playing the new or the most recent Ravenloft edition or something like that. And or whatever the bad guy's name in that. They just re-released a updated version of that whole quasi-Transylvania vampire adventure. Anyway, somewhere in the middle of it, we faced off against this super duper evil witch, right? And this was meant to be like mid-level big fight, whatever. And so we're in this temple or cave or something, and she's sending these zombies at us. And my initiative roll was really high compared to everybody else, so I got to act second after the witch, and I cast silence. And since all of the witch's powers were based on spells that she had to verbalize, the GM's like, and so she went from the superpower mid-level boss to like just an old lady in a room. And I felt like such a badass, and everybody at the table was like, yes, because nobody else had that spell. Oh, those were the days. Strahd, that's right. Yeah, Strahd says Tales of Gore. Strahd, yes. Curse of Strahd. Pyrus Creed, speaking of D&D, you hear the dungeons will now be wheelchair accessible. No, I'm not making this up. Oh, that the dungeons themselves? What? Okay. Whatever. The thing about role-playing games is that you don't have to do anything the book tells you. You can just use it as the lattice for what you want to do on your own. So you're not required, even if they decide to go all woke on something. This is why I recommend, if you can, find a copy of D&D 5th Ed before they made all the changes, and Vampire the Masquerade, the 20th Anniversary Edition, before they made all the changes with their 5th Ed, because the most recent generations of a lot of these tabletop games have just gone completely bonkers. Let's see. Mr. Yes, Scribe, have you seen Thelma and Louise? Yeah, probably back in the era where it came out, like maybe once. Long time ago. Frosted Glass, which would you rather be trapped in a building with, a xenomorph, the Thing, or 2 velociraptors? The 2 velociraptors. Because the xenomorph, acid blood and everything else, no. The Thing, you wouldn't know it if you saw it. And the velociraptors, they're at least a known quantity, and they can die relatively easily because they're just mortal creatures. So, yeah. I'd go for those 2. They are limited, and they can't get through like steel doors and stuff. If I'm trapped in a building, I probably got plenty of places to hide. Stunlock says, Keldrig, yeah, it's there, but only if you suffer the exhaustion of wishing for something outside of a lower level spell. You have a 33% to lose wish forever. Yeah, see? There's a downside to it. So I'll take Featherfall. Because like I say, I don't know when that'll come in handy, but the moment that it does, it's the best thing to have. You know what Featherfall is, Satsu? It's a kind of a reflexive spell that if you fall from a height, you basically gently drift to the earth.
Oh, that sounds about right.
Yeah. So, like, as far as the most useful thing I can think of in my mortal shell, yeah, I'll take that one. And you know what? By the time we get to the end of this, we'll be at the top of the hour, unless the end of the show. So, everyone, thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for all your questions. Thank you for the stories you've sent. Thank you all for your donations. I really appreciate it. Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things, even though everyone is so well behaved. You have very little to do. Let's see. Tomorrow night, per usual, be on Satsu's channel at the regular time, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, for another episode of Lords of the Night. Satsu, you got anything coming up tomorrow that you want to promote otherwise? Or you're not doing a game stream tonight? That's right. Yeah.
No game stream tonight. Might do an upload tomorrow on the gaming channel, so be on the lookout for that. I might save the Honey Pop episode until Friday, and I've been trying to work on the Satsuhime episode, but for whatever reason, that's been causing some difficulties for me, so we'll see. I'll try to get one out before the end of the week.
Okay. And again, guys, Thursday, I'll be doing another TED Excellence. Not quite sure which one yet, but the surviving white supremacy is looking mighty fine right now. We'll see. And otherwise, Satsu, thank you for joining me as always.
No problem.
Everyone, your lives make us sad, and we will see you tomorrow.
Fuck off.
And taking out my copy of Screw the Roses, Send Me the Thorns, the romance and sexual sorcery of sadomasochism.
Sadomasochism.
Today's secret word is submission.
Submission. Submit your stories today to MSN.
Yeah, you're quick on your feet. I'll give you that.